precisely 1:15. This is the news on Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Edited by Catherine Pereira. Read by Sabrina Zawahir. First, the headlines. The Prime Minister opened the largest wind power plant in the country today. Media Minister says the Saubhagya Dakma program will be implemented. A long-term national human resources development plan to increase the efficiency and productivity in the state service. The government has given priority to develop common transport. And in world news, Christchurch massacre inquiry finds failures ahead of attack. Now the local news in detail. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa says that generating of wind power electricity is a turning point of the country, according to the Saubhagya Dakma program. The Prime Minister made this remark participating at the opening ceremony of the Sri Lanka's largest wind power plant constructed at the Mannar that will add 103.5 megawatts to the national grid. He also pointed out that the government has taken these measures to face the future electricity crisis. The government also paid attention on renewable electricity. Minister Kelly Rambukwala says the Cabinet has given a long-term national human resources development plan to increase the efficiency and productivity in the state sector. He said the contribution of all is anticipated in this regard. He made these remarks at the Cabinet information briefing held today. The government has paid attention to produce quality seeds for crop cultivation in the country. Minister Kelly Rambukwala also said that the present Cabinet and the parliamentarians are working together to strengthen the Saubhagya Dakma program of the government. Minister Ramesh Patirana says that the government would be able to eradicate the COVID-19 pandemic successfully within the next 6 months. The World Health Organization has acted to distribute the vaccination to the countries according to production capacity. He said Sri Lanka has also made a request in this regard. This news is brought to you by Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Continuing on local news, Minister Prasanna Ranatunga says that the government has given priority to strengthen the common transport service in the country. He made this remark participating in the vote on account of the Highways and Transport Ministry taken up for debate in Parliament today. Plans have also been made to develop 100,000 kilometres of rural roads in the country. Fort Magistrate Priyantali Anagay has ordered today to further remand the lawyer Hijaz Hezbollah questioned under detention order regarding the Easter Sunday attacks until the 22nd of this month. He ordered to postpone the case considering the present COVID-19 situation in the country. The CID has commenced an extensive investigation on the finance given by the state of Qatar to the Save Pearl Institute that Hezbollah is the chairman of the institution, whether the said money had been used for terrorism. That ends local news. The main news story follows.
A mother knows the pain of each member of the family. Siddhalepa, the trusted relief for aches and pains.
An effective therapy for relief from cold, sneezing, flu, headaches, swelling due to toothaches, rheumatic, discomforts, and muscular aches and pains. Siddhalepa, the Veda Mahatmya in every home.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya.
State Minister Duminda Disanayaka says that the solar power panel will be given to the state institutions to generate solar power. Facilities will also be given for the institution to supply electricity free of charge. That was our main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Veda Mahatmya. Brush your teeth twice a day for healthy teeth and gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, your trusted brands in oral care for many years.
Supiriviki Ayurvedic toothpaste for adults. Kakulu Ayurvedic toothpaste for kids. 9 Ayurvedic ingredients of Supiriviki will protect your teeth and strengthen your gums. Supiriviki and Kakulu, products from Siddhaleba.
In Watchlight, the residents complain that more common properties belongs to the Niyagama Pradeshya Sabha is deteriorating. They pointed out that these properties should be safeguarded by the Pradeshya Sabha. This is for the attention of the chairman of the Niyagama Pradeshya Sabha. That came to you in Watchlight. A bulletin of world news follows. The headlines of the world news: Christchurch massacre inquiry finds failures ahead of attack. Biden picks ex-general as defense secretary. Civilians killed in airstrikes in Afghanistan soars by more than 300%. Now the world news in detail. An inquiry into the Christchurch massacre has found a series of failures ahead of 2019 attack, but concluded the tragedy was unpreventable. The inquiry was launched after the white supremacist Brenton Tarrant killed 51 people at 2 mosques in March 2019. It found he had been able to accumulate a massive trove of weapons, with authorities failing to enforce proper checks on firearms licenses. It further found officials were overly focused on Islamist terrorism. U.S. President-elect Joe Biden has chosen retired General Lloyd Austin as his defense secretary, U.S. media reports. Jen Austin, aged 67, will become the first African-American to lead the Pentagon. Jen Austin, who led U.S. Central Command during the Obama administration, would need a congressional waiver as it is less than 7 years since he retired. Mr. Biden's reported that the decision comes in 2 weeks after he announced other senior members of his national security team. The number of Afghan civilians killed in airstrikes carried out by the U.S. and its allies has risen 330% since 2017, a U.S. study says. In 2019 alone, around 700 civilians were killed, the Costs of War project at Brown University says. It is the highest figure since the first years of the U.S. invasion following the 9/11 attacks in 2001. The group attribute the rising figures to the U.S. relaxing its rules of engagement in 2017. Researchers say the increase in airstrikes was partly because there are fewer U.S. troops on the ground, but also seem to have the aim of putting more pressure on the Taliban to negotiate peace. That ends foreign news, and the headlines once again prior to concluding. Christchurch massacre inquiry finds failures ahead of attack. Biden picks ex-general as defense secretary. Civilians killed in airstrikes in Afghanistan soars by more than 300%. That concludes the world news, and taking a look at the development news. The National Tele-Cinema Village, Ranminithanna, will be reconstructed. It has been identified that this village has not been maintained during the last 4 years. The Treasury has allocated the necessary funds for the reconstruction activities for the year 2021 and 2022. That was development news. Sports news is coming up next. Taking a look at the sports news, Jaffna Stallion team is in the forefront at the LPL cricket tournament. The Dambulla Vikings team is in the second place, while the Colombo Kings has secured the third place. Galle Gladiators is the fourth, and the Kandy Tuskers is in the fifth place. Another 2 matches of the LPL will be played tomorrow. Jaffna Stallion and Kandy Tuskers and Dambulla Vikings and Galle Gladiators are scheduled to play tomorrow. That was sports news. Next up is the business news. The outgoing South African High Commissioner in Colombo, Robina Pimark, said that South Africa was keen to obtain assistance from Sri Lankan craftsmen to develop the jewellery industry in South Africa. Foreign Minister Dinesh Gunawardena sought the South African expertise in the canning industry for the food and vegetable industry in Sri Lanka, as around 40% of the harvest is wasted in the country due to technology gaps in this field. Besides, the minister highlighted the importance of enhancing cooperation in trade, investment and tourism sectors between the two countries. That was business news. Coming up next is the economic news.
Economic news, courtesy of...
Congratulations on your promotion. It will be our treat, huh?
How about today?
Oh no, I was just joking.
It's fine. I have my LOLC credit card with me. Let's go out today.
Introducing LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
Plans have been made to commence a project to produce steel radial tire for the export market at the Hambantota International Port premises. A tire company in China has presented a proposal with a $300 million investment to the BOI. The BOI has given the approval for it and is expected to implement the project within 36 months. That was economic news.
Hello, Puta. Did you land already?
No, Amma. We're in transit and our flight got delayed.
Oh, really? How is Shani? Poor thing with her pregnancy. She might be feeling very uncomfortable. The airport must be heavily crowded because it's a season.
Amma, calm down. Everything is sorted. Why, I have my LOLC World Card with me. We are at the VIP lounge. There's nothing to worry.
Those who spread goodness radiate happiness to everyone around them. Introducing LOLC Finance Credit Cards. Fuel the goodness in you.
Finally, it's a look at the weather report. The Met Department says several spells of showers will occur in the Eastern Province and in Jaffna, Mullaitivu, Kilinochchi, Hambantota and Monoragala districts. Showers or thunder showers will occur at several places in Western, Sabragamua and Central Provinces and in Galle and Mathura districts after 2 p.m. Fairly heavy rainfalls above 50 millimeters are likely at some places. That was the weather report. Prior to concluding this bulletin of news, the headlines once again. The Prime Minister opened the largest wind power plant in the country today. Media Minister says the Saubhagya Dakma program will be implemented. A long-term national human resource development plan to increase the efficiency and productivity in the state service. The government has given priority to develop common transport. With that, we conclude the news for the afternoon hour, and over to my friend and certainly yours as well. Chandima is all geared up to keep you entertained with a wonderful collection of music. Over to you, Chandima.